what we'll do is we'll start with a little slideshow first of all. So first things first, who's this for? Well, it's for pretty much everybody that's dialed in. So it could be a club or an athlete or a community group or whatever it happens to be. Then we're going to talk about what is crowdfunding, what makes us different, etc., as per the little slide there. So, as I said before, who's it for? Clubs, athletes, community groups, and any kind of organization that supports them. So CSPs as an example, or well, it could be anything, national governing bodies, anything you like really. The main thing is that the purpose of the campaign has to be to educate and improve those taking part through sport. Now that's pretty broad brush. So at one end, that could be supporting a young athlete for training costs, right through to, as it says on the slide there, a 60s Nordic walking group, and pretty much anything in between. So all of you, we're talking about sustainability for your clubs, or repairing, or buying new equipment, or whatever it might be, all falls within that role, because the other line that's not on there, it says that anything that is incidental there too. So we're pretty comfortable that anything you're doing out there is going to be for the purpose of this anyway, to educate those taking part in sport. So for those of you who don't understand what crowdfunding is, it's basically a model whereby many people donate a small amount of money to a project via the internet. Unsurprisingly, it started life in business world, but it's only just beginning to ease its way into what you might call the social projects, such as what we're talking about today. And the reason it's very unknown in this sector is because basically most people don't really understand how it works or how to run it, and that's the purpose of today, to try and show you how to do that. And obviously it's more hard work than filling in a grant application, assuming that's the sort of thing that you will be able to get. We've got some more people who've just joined us. Hello to you. Don't worry if you've missed the first few minutes, because you'll get the slide and you'll get the recording anyway. Okay, so what makes us different to any other platform out there is basically we are a charity, and that means that in effect the donations come through us as a charity, and then we bundle up the money and then we give it to the projects and campaigns who are featured on our platform. So because of that, because we're registered with the Charity Commission, we can claim gift aid on any donations, turning potentially £100 into at least 115 for the campaigns that we support. And that doesn't matter whether you personally are a charitable entity, because as I said before, technically the donations come through us and we are the charity. Now what that means is that we're at least 20% more effective than any other platform out there, whether that's BT My Donate, which is very cheap at I can't remember exact numbers, but it's like 1% or something, right through to Virgin Money Giving or Just Giving. In fact, there's a little slide here which tells you if someone was to donate £100 through any of these platforms, such as Virgin Money Giving or Just Giving or Crowdfunder, you would be X pounds better off by coming through us. So that's the kind of why you would use us routine. So let's have another look at another slide. So how do you actually physically go about doing this? Well, what you have to do is you fill out an application form online, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. And very importantly for us, we get 2 referees who can support your application. And the reason we do that is because we want to make sure that anyone who supports your campaign or maybe runs a fundraising campaign on your behalf can take confidence in the fact that it's a real campaign trying to do real stuff. So we have to legitimize the whole thing. Once it's all been vetted, we can then add content, and that would be your story. And Kirsty's going to talk all about that a bit later on. And then once you've got your page set up, you then start to market it. And again, Kirsty will talk about that a bit later on. So as I explained a bit earlier, we're currently in a halfway house between the existing platform and the new platform. And the new platform is being launched on the 1st of May. So what we have here is a bunch of screen grabs of a work in progress on the new website. So the one on the far left here is showing us a kind of a mock-up of a home page. And the one in the middle would be a mock-up of the regional page. So let's just say that if you can read that, "Don't let the spark go out" in the center of the page there underneath Shropshire, that might be your campaign. So you would feature, in this case, on the Shropshire website. So your campaign would be blasted out across the Shropshire region in addition to your own personal crowd. And again, taking the "Don't Let the Spark Go Out" campaign as an example, it would also feature, excuse me, on the Amateur Swimming Association website, because it happens to be about swimming. So you would get an extra bite at that cherry. So you would have a broadcast via your regional representation through, so let's say, Shropshire, and in addition to that, you would be broadcast nationally through the national representation, in this case, swimming. So again, that would get blasted out to a bigger audience. So what I'm going to try and do now is show you another screen grab. In fact, let's go back one, actually. I'm going to show you now an application form. So where can I just hang on 2 seconds, and I shall call up an application form from the current site. Now, the new application form won't be radically different. It's just going to be the same sort of format. But I'll just show you this quickly. Application form. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you can see that now in a minute. There we are.
Not at the moment.
Can you see that now? New application form?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So this is on the existing site, but the new site won't be radically different. Very simple to fill in: name, address, usual sort of stuff, club or organization. And then a bit further down here, you've got what your campaign's all about, the campaign title, or as much information as you can possibly put on there. And then right at the bottom, a couple of referees. And that is effectively what the campaign application form will look like. Okay, so that's that. Let's go back to the, there we are. And we should be back on the main presentation now. Okay, right.
Yeah.
So let's have a look what an actual, this is how you would make
Screen's gone black.
It's gone what? It's gone black.
Screen's it's okay, it's back.
All right, okay. All right, so okay, so how to support a campaign. All right, so you've now made your application. You've sent us as much information as you can. You've added the videos, the blogs, and all the rest of it, and you send that to us. We make your page. And now the major difference between what we currently do and what we're going to be doing is on this slide here. So anyone can make a donation directly to your campaign page. That's pretty standard and very normal. What you can now also do is people can fundraise on your behalf. So in the situation of, let's say, I think the American Football Club, we have a campaign and we're trying to raise some money for some equipment or something, and there might be a main campaign page, and you could then ask all of your members, all of your club members, to have their own fundraising page, and they might all do that attached to your campaign. So one might say, well, I'm going to run a 10K, another one might do a bike ride or something along those lines, and people would make donations to their individual fundraising pages, all of them linked to the main page. Another major thing we can do is we can set up events on behalf of a campaign. So again, taking the American football example, you might decide to run an event, a dance or something, or a dinner or something along those lines. We could advertise that on our platform, and then people could buy the ticket via us. We would amalgamate any money that's raised from that into your main campaign page, and then send you the whole lot at the end of the campaign period. And the last thing we can do is we can sell merchandise on your behalf. Same sort of idea as before. You might want to have a T-shirt saying, you know, save Somerset and Wyvern American Football Club, or whatever it might be. And again, we can sell that through us, and the proceeds go off to you. Okay. So what might a campaign look like? on the left hand of the screen, we have a mock-up of an existing campaign. So in this case, it was Save the Bracknell Bees. As you can see, underneath the title, you can either donate, which we've talked about just now, or you could fundraise. So if you wanted to fundraise on behalf of the Bracknell Bees, you would click that button there, and you would make your own campaign page, and that would then go live attached to this main campaign. Campaign goal is whatever the Bracknell Bees have asked us to put in, and then they've got a little widget thing on the right-hand side showing how much is raised. Again, this is a work in progress. And there's a video added. And then people can leave comments at the bottom if they wanted to when they make a donation. And on the right-hand side is an example of the event. In this case, it's a dance for this particular campaign, Spark, or indeed it could be a T-shirt or something along those lines. Okay, so pretty simple, really. Setting it up is relatively easy. The trick of the matter is when you come to actually marketing it. So I won't show you these because you can look at these at your leisure. These click through to existing campaigns. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to ask Kirsty to take over shortly, because the key to running a successful campaign is really all about the marketing at the various stages throughout. So pre, during, and post launch. So I'm going to hand you over to Kirsty now. So over to you, Kirsty.
Okay, thanks, Carl. Hope everybody can hear me okay. Okay, so the marketing of a campaign starts here, as you say, pre-launch. Literally at the point you're filling in that application and you're discussing things with Carl, you need to be starting to test your campaign ideas, get a good title, get an appealing story, one that people are going to want to give, be part of, support, something that really sort of pulls on their emotions. Those are usually the best sort of campaigns to promote. So, so you need to do that. You want to justify your campaign, so put the costings in of what you're going to use the money for. Explain to people why you need the money. Once they understand, you know, why you need it, training costs are, you know, 10,000 a year, and travel expenses are 5,000, and I need equipment that's, then they understand that when you're asking for a couple of £1,000, that all they're doing is just helping out and contributing. But you're still contributing to things yourselves. So it's just a drop in the ocean in a way, but people will sort of think, well, actually, I could make a difference, I could help. So that's what you need to think of. Just a little title there we've added in, Help Shed Light on Community Tennis in Marlborough. Quite a good title. A little bit of a play on words. They want some floodlighting for their new tennis courts. So shedding the light makes people think, why is it shedding the light? Community, brilliant. Get things like community in there, ways to help their community. People of Marlborough, oh, I'm interested. I'll click, I'll go through. I want to find out more about this campaign, or I'm interested in that. So just make it, and you can test that on people within your club, family, friends, people who don't know anything about you. So, you know, does it grab their attention? Does it make them be interested in it? So just go through those stages while you're filling in the application form and thinking about a campaign. Okay, so we've got to create your community first, again, pre-launch stage. Make sure you engage with funders and people around you. Start talking to people, start talking to club members. Committee members need to sign up and agree to the idea. Again, you know, it's a crowd effort. It isn't just one person that's going to drive this. You can't do this on your own. So if you're a committee member or somebody that volunteers at a club or an organisation, it's not a single person job. You need people around you and behind you. So you need to start that. Tell people it's coming. Tell people in posters, flyers, newsletters, whatever you send out to your members. You know, start with that, and people you deal with, people you talk to, the leisure centre, the county sports partnership, everybody, your NGB, tell them what you're thinking about, probably a month or so in advance, so that they know it's happening. If you can hit the ground running, and on day one everybody knows it's coming, and he's almost ready, hovering to click donate, then it's going to happen. If it takes you the first few weeks to start telling people because you didn't do it beforehand, then 30 days can be up out of a 60-day campaign, and you're then chasing your tail because you've only just got the message out there to people. So, you know, really need to start thinking pre-launch. Okay, and build that anticipation, basically. Thanks, Carl. Next slide, Tal. Okay, just a bit of a communication wheel, a crowd here. So just thinking, we've just gone through a few of them. Start telling people word of mouth at training sessions, competitions, people you see, people you talk to. Just tell people what you're doing and how they might be able to help. Friends, family, obviously using online social media, websites, and obviously Podium Partners. If you don't have a website for your club, organisation, or as an athlete, then it's ideal, because Podium Partners' professional looking website can become your domain that you can use at no cost to you. So it's only a benefit there just to have a platform, really. For crowdfunding is also like a PR element as well as donating. It tells people about you. So it's a perfect platform. Talk to your CSPs, because they've got contacts, they've got press, radio, NGB, local people that they deal with, partners, local authorities. So again, that opens up their crowd. So you're not just talking about your crowd and people you know and your club deals with and your club knows. You can deal with other people's crowds as well. See if you can get the press to put in a press release, do a radio interview, things like that. Okay, thanks, Carl.
It's good.
Just the spin, it's going slowly. It's late in the evening. Cool. Commitment from your group. I've got a little story to tell you while you read those top ones. We had a campaign that came to us. We got it all out, went live, and unfortunately the committee and the group hadn't really signed up to it, and it was a big learning curve for them and us as well, that you need to get the full commitment from everybody on the committee and anybody really that, you know, any of your volunteers and helpers and things, because as we say, it's not a one-man band or one-woman band. It is something you need to do together. We had people on Facebook, somebody put a comment and somebody didn't know about the campaign and put a lengthy reply. It got quite negative and the campaign didn't really do very well. There's a bit more in-house fighting, which I'm sure you're all aware of, but the campaign didn't really succeed. Luckily, it was on a closed group, the closed Facebook, but if that had been on an open Facebook where anybody could have accessed and seen that, it would have been a bit more damaging to the club in general, really. So that's really highlighted that everybody needs to be supportive. If there's only half of the committee or half of the group that really want to do it, you really need to get them on board first, I would suggest, because you need their crowds as well as your own. Knowing your crowd and identifying, do a little bit of research, find out different groups in the area, your local town councils, parish councils, other social groups, anybody who might help you and support you. Your local leisure centre might put your campaign on their Facebook page and put some signs up for you. So all of these things can be pre-launch, and you can find out whether you've got a good enough crowd really to make it work. And don't forget, somebody else's crowd becomes a new crowd and it just builds from there. Okay, so make a plan of who is going to do what and when. Again, I've said this several times already, it's not a one-man band. It's very much a crowd thing. So you've got to have a communication plan and some fundraising champions. They're very important. You could have somebody in your group that's a videographer or just knows how to use iMovie and is quite happy to take a few clips and a few videos and put them together for you with a bit of music and some titles. You might have somebody who's good on Facebook or who regularly uses Twitter. Somebody works for a big company, that might be able to get the company to do some fundraising for you and get staff there to do a fundraising walk or run or something like that. So it's a case of knowing who you've got within your group. These can be parents, these can be helpers, coaches, not always the same people. Try and look out for different people as they come in the door, or if they leave their children at the gate. Try and grab them and just tell them about your campaign and say, is there anything you can do to help us? We're looking for people who can take photos, who wouldn't mind just videoing a session while you're stood there on the sideline. Mrs. Joe blogs and little Jimmy's running around. Would you mind just taking some pictures for us? It doesn't all have to be you. Again, we've said, as Carl said earlier, it is an online, mainly online. Yes, you can do posters, you can do flyers, you can do word of mouth, and you can do press releases, radio. There's lots of other things. But one of the main platforms is to use social media to get the message out. So if you haven't got social media set up, if you don't use it already, then again, pre-planning, start that now. Start getting people to support you on there. A little idea for attracting people in your club to follow you. You could get people to, I don't know, maybe have a little discount on membership if they follow you, a prize, give them a bottle of, drinks bottle or something like that, just as an incentive, maybe initially to start getting people to like you, and then slowly your crowd will begin to grow. And then obviously, say if you retweet or if you share this post, then you get little bonuses or something like that you could do if you need to. It's just an idea. 2 messages we have throughout the whole of the crowdfunding process is donate and share. I would put it donate and share if I was talking to people in the club, if I was talking to parents, grandparents, coaches and people that you know through the club, or as an athlete or an organisation. But maybe if you're going to speak to other people outside your organisation, you might put, could you share, could you spread the word, and then donate. If you wouldn't mind donating, that would be really good. So you might turn those 2 around, but they're the 2 messages you need to get across. Okay, thanks, Carl. Okay. Right, this slide's really, I think it sums it up by saying pictures say 1,000 words, as the classic saying goes. We live in a world where we don't want to read loads and loads of information. We want quick answers, which is really why Carl and I have decided to sort of go down the route of doing a webinar tonight. We want to see it and just very quick, on bomb, got the idea, off we go, sort of thing. So videos are great. Noisy when they come up on your smartphone. If you're looking through Facebook, if you've noticed, you will see loads and loads more videos these days coming through. Facebook like it. Facebook will spread a video more to more people than they will just a normal post. And you should never put a Twitter or Facebook post out without a video or a photo these days. So get snapping, get a good selection of photos and videos of your group. I mean, young people, smiley faces, there's nothing better. It just makes people smile. There's a few examples of some videos that people have put together there as well. Thanks, Carl. Okay, so during, we've only just got to during. That was all sort of pre-planning. So we've found that one of the downsides is some campaigns have lost momentum during their own campaign. So sometimes if, again, you work with other people, you might take the first week and give it to somebody and say, look, could you manage the Facebook this week? And the next person manages it the following week, which you can have several administrators of a Facebook page. This way you'll get somebody's 100% for a week or 2 weeks. You'll get their ideas, their ways of doing it. And then you change over and you get the 100% of the next person. And then the other person could have a break, the one who did it for the first couple of weeks. So you're sharing the workload. So you've just got to try and post as many times in the week as you possibly can. There's never really an overload. At least once a day would be great. and it might be a clip of a training session, clip of a competition at a weekend, things like that, with a little message and your link back to Podium Partners, your donation page. So yeah, those are the sort of things that you can cover. If you just click again, Carl, for me, where it says pin post to the top of the page, here's a couple of examples just coming up. And again, so we've got a Twitter on the left, so that's the boxing, Be a Bright Star Boxing Club. They need new equipment for a new venue. So we've got a Twitter feed on the left there, and we've got a Facebook post on the right. If you see the one on the right, it's got a little pin mark, the blue one. Things like pinning that to the top of your Facebook timeline means that it stays there, so it's very prominent. It doesn't stay there for the whole period. You can unpin it, but you could leave it there periodically, and your latest post could be pinned to the top. So that other information can go past down the timeline, but that stays as a priority. Okay, thanks, Carl. Okay, and this is really, I suppose, the marketing element of a successful campaign is that first word: engage, link, and interact with people on social media. It's fine putting it there, but you need to make a connection with people. So if they comment, if they like, say thank you. Say that's great. If they like, but they don't share, say, oh, thanks for liking, but would you mind sharing? That would help us spread the word. And on Twitter, it's fine to actually ask people directly, can you retweet this? Can you share this? It's perfectly good etiquette to do that. And you can direct message people as well. But we've got a section on the new website which will be having sort of frequently asked questions and you know, ways to market a good campaign. So we can go into those in more detail. I just want to, if you click again a couple of times, Carl, thanks. We've got hashtag hour. If you see hashtag Salisbury hour, in most areas you'll find a hashtag hour, and this is a networking place, mainly started for businesses and companies, but they're usually small companies that use it, and you never know who's out there. You can just sign up on Twitter and you can just log on to your local hashtag, hashtag hour. As you can see there, there's Shropshire Hour, North East Hour, all sorts on the right there. And you just basically put a post on saying, or a tweet on saying who you are, what your campaign is, and say, please, could you help us? Share if you can. And because it's the environment where everybody's gone on to try and work with people and network, they're really open. They're really open to, you know, be able to tell people. At the bottom of the previous, sorry Carl, if we can just pop back. At the bottom there, the picture at the bottom, another opportunity is to make use of your cover on your Facebook. So as you can see there, I've added a logo, I've added a strap line. So instead of it just being a picture, which most of us have on our timelines, it's making it more into a poster or an advert, so that it could say, you know, shed the light on community tennis in Marlborough, and the tennis club logo. Okay. I think I've mentioned live streaming, it gets greater reach, so I think that slide's done there. Thank you. So I hope it's given you some ideas of what you need to do once the campaign's running. If we go to the next slide, we've got after your campaign. Thanks, Carl. So we've got thanking people, really important. This is done during a campaign. The post on the right, where it says JTT, thank you to the biggest donor. So he put actually the person's details because it was a company. A great way to do it because they're getting free promotion from, they've donated to you and you're saying thank you by promoting them on your timeline. What better way of doing it than, you know, vice versa support. Much more likely to come back to you next time if you run a future campaign, and you can build on that relationship. And then on the left, Claire, that's a post where she's thanked people and she's also said thank you for helping me achieve my target. So really good to do that, either just on your social media or in person with emails. I believe, Carl, you send out contact details of all the donors that are happy to be contacted again. So you've started creating a new crowd there of people that you can communicate with in between campaigns, and when you're ready for your next campaign, you can tell them what you're doing and what you're doing with the money that they've given you as well. So thank you.
Yeah, just on that point, at the end of the campaign, we send all the campaigners a complete list of every single donor, their email address, what they donated, and whether or not they want to be carried on contacted. So if you wanted to, you could send your own message to them at the end of that, at that point, or you, as Kirsty says, you can use them as a starting point for the next campaign.
Okay. Okay. So next slide. Did you want to take this one on, Carl? Is that okay?
Yeah, okay. So
yeah, is that all right?
That's fine, I'll do that. So what we've got now then is you've run the campaign, it's been open for however long, 30, 60, 90 days, however long you wanted it to be. Loads of marketing's gone into it. You've got lots of money in the pot. So what we need to do now is to keep those people on side. So it's very important that you update your web page, your campaign page, letting people know exactly what's happened and how that money has helped. If it was going to buy a particular piece of kit, then maybe a picture of that or a video of you guys using the bit of kit would be great to put on there. Celebrate and recognize your champions. Again, as I said, you get a list of everybody who's donated. So you know, keep them on side, say thank you, maybe invite them to some sort of event if that's even feasible in your locality. Definitely review, learn, and build on your success. So in other words, what went well, what didn't go so well, what could have gone better. All of those sort of things you put into the bank, ready for the next time. Once you've got this pot of money, why not use that for match funding? Now that could be either through the usual opportunities via Sport England, maybe via some sort of grant application, or it could be just local businesses saying, you know, we've managed to raise whatever it is, 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. Can you match it, please? People will definitely more likely to listen to you if you've made the effort to do something yourself. Keep everyone networked inspired. Well, that goes without saying, because you're going to try and keep this crowd on side, simply because you can come back again and again and again. This is not a one-hit thing. So ideally, if you've got a target for a 12-month period, you would chop your year up into little bite-sized pieces, maybe quarterly or something, and you'd go back to them. So the first quarter, you'd have a bunch of people behind you. The second quarter, a bigger bunch, and so on and so forth. And like it says there, crowdfunding is usually the start of a great online journey, not an end in itself. And that's simply because you're building this network of people around you all the time. So that's it, apart from this last bit, which Kirsty's going to go through.
Okay, so a bit of a summary really, I think, isn't it? So basically knowing your crowd. So we went through talking to your committee, making sure the members had signed up, friends and family, little one on that. We've had it cheerleading group. The girls were great with sharing it on social media, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, but it's not the young girls that are going to put their hands in their pockets for even if it's the £5 or £10 donations. So you do need to get the parents. If it's a youngish club, you do need to get the parents involved, and the aunties, the uncles, and the grandparents, etc. And you tap into their crowd. So it's not particularly them you're necessarily asking for to donate, but obviously, you know, it would be good, and they probably will. But again, it's that second element. We don't want just you, mum, to donate. Could you pop it on your timeline, on your Facebook, and then all of your friends that might think, oh, well, I'll help little Jimmy's swimming club. I'll quite happily, you know, give them some money. So that's what you've got to maximise that crowd. So employers, like I say, we've had a company in Swindon that went and did the Ridgeway Walk, 44 miles walk. They all did a bit of a fitness thing at work, so they all went walking to train for it. They raised £2,000 and they gave £1,000 to another charity, and they gave £1,000 to us for us to disseminate. And we used the crowdfunding platform for those donations to come in. So it was that work group, that company that was doing the crowdfunding for sport in their local area. So that's another way of tapping in through Workplace Challenge, the CSPs. A lot of them are signed up to Workplace Challenge. You can link, and maybe you've got an athlete or a club or an organization, and you've got some workplaces that want some motivation to get fit and get active. Get them fundraising for you, get them to take part in 10Ks and runs, get their family, again, their crowd to raise money to encourage them to get fit, and in turn that gives money to the club or the athlete. So you can link those sort of things together. Internet influencers. The other night I was just looking on Facebook, I put in Marlborough for Marlborough Tennis, and I just found all the different groups, clubs, town council, leisure centres, pubs even, and I messaged them all, and I just said, any chance you could help your community tennis club by putting this on your timeline and share if if you're able to. And I got several, 3 or 4 different posts back. Another campaign recently, I asked the father who the son does MotoGP, and I said, what magazines and what sort of websites do people look at that are interested in motorbikes, etc. Sent out some Facebook and Twitters. They put them on their timeline, which is no cost, absolutely no cost to them, no cost to you, and he's had some donations from it. So it's really worth looking at other avenues and other people. Obviously, your NGB might be able to support you spreading the word, and their contacts, CSPs, we've mentioned, parish councils, town councils, and basically anyone else. Do you have a good idea? I hope so. I'm sure you have. A compelling message, a little bit harder to work that one out, but get some heads together and come up with some, good ways of getting your message across. Start engaging with your crowd as soon as you finish this webinar. Get a communication plan together while you're doing the application stage. Think about it, talk to us, we'll give you some advice. And keep that momentum going with engaging content. And get people. Your crowd is your committee, your club members, parents, etc. And the following, we've gone through those really, haven't we? Videos, pictures say more than words. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so what if you think this might be for you, what you need to do is go to podiumpartners.org, fill out the application form, give as much information as possible. If you need more information, just drop us an email or give us a call. And then the idea would be, if you wanted to be part of the 1st of May relaunch, and I would suggest that's probably a good idea because there's going to be a big social media push about the new website. So if your campaign happened to be on it, that wouldn't do you any harm. So the first point is go to the existing website, fill out the application form, and then we can go from there. I've got one question left, which I need to answer for Lee. Has anybody got any more questions that they want to put to us currently? If now's the time, use the chat or the Q&A bit. Okay, I haven't seen no questions coming through, so I'm just going to respond to Lee here. So Lee's asked a question about. Wait, let me just read it. It's a bit too complicated. I better answer that via the text. Okay, all right. Well, I think that's about it. Love to hear from you all. Oh, yes, sorry.
Is that another message or not? Sorry. No. No, maybe not.
No. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you all. I'm really pleased you could come and listen to us tonight. It was our first ever webinar, so hopefully it hasn't been a complete mess. Anyway, thanks very much for dialing in, and we'll send a copy of this webinar to everybody anyway. So you've got all the links and all the other stuff you're going to likely to need.